That's one rakat. It should be one rakat, isn't it? But we added a second because you can't have one rakat of salat. I see. So as long as you've done 2 rakats of recitation, yeah, further.
Okay.
So third, whether you read in the third, whether you don't read in the third, that doesn't really matter. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I had a couple more. you know, we're supposed to be we shouldn't go backwards when in reading the Quran in Salah.
Yeah.
But you know how if we break a nafil prayer in the third rakat, even though it's a 4 rakat prayer, we only have to do qada of the third and fourth, don't we?
There's ikhtilaf now.
Okay. But in that circumstance, would it be possible to read, say, Falak and Nas in the first 2 and then go somewhere else and read 2 more? Because technically they're separate.
Yeah, you know, the karahat is because it's like not a strong karahat. Because the tartib of the Quran, does it have to be considered in salat or not? The tartib of the mushaf itself, does it have to be considered or not? Does that make sense? So they say that karahat is not that bad. In other words, it's not karahat makruh tahreem, where it would lead, like Ibn Abidin Rahimahullah mentions, it's not a makruh tahreem where it would lead you to have to do i'adah the salat again. It's a karahat as in you've gone against the tartib of the Quran.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you did read it, it's fine, salat's done. But normally the rule is karahat tahreem in salat يجب الإعادة. في الوقت أو في خارج الوقت there's اختلاف between the ulama. As in, if the time expires, do you have to i'adah or not? Some say no, some say yes. Does it answer the same question?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Right.
And last one was, who was Qatada? Because I was reading Ibn Kathir when I'm teaching the other class, and he keeps on getting mentioned, but I'm not sure exactly who it was. And when I initially
There's one Qatada,
who is
there's Abu Qatada, who is a Sahabi.
Yeah.
There's a Qatada who is a Sahabi, but he's not that famous.
Okay.
The one that you're probably referring to, Mufassir,
Okay.
that's Qatada bin Di'ama, student of Ibn Abbas. Qatada bin Di'ama is a blind tabi'i, famous muhaddith. Qatada, because he's one of the narrators of this hadith.
What is it? The Qatada bin
Di'ama. He's the one that intermediate remember who said, he narrates from which sahabi? Anas. Only Anas. Starting to forget. What's this?
Was Nafi the free slave of Umar?
Okay, let's start on. جي آسف read.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسند المتصل منا إلى الإمام مالك رحمه الله تعالى ومتعنا الله بعلومه آمين. قال باب ما جاء في المهاجرة.
Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبالسند المتصل منا إلى الإمام ابن مالك رحمه الله ونفعنا الله بعلومه آمين. باب ما جاء في المهاجرة. So مهاجرة, هاجر يهاجر means to leave. Yeah, al-hijrah means to leave, and muhajara from bab mufa'ala, which means where there's mutual 2 people or more involved. Ma ja'a fil muhajara. So muhajara here refers to when 2 or more people stop communicating. Yeah, so excommunication. Bab ma ja'a fil muhajarati. Ji.
وبه قال حدثنا مالك عن ابن شهاب عن عطاء بن يزيد الليثي عن ابي ايوب الانصاري رضي الله عنهم ان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا يحل لمسلم ان يهجر اخاه فوق 3 ليال.
Have you got يحجر or يهاجر?
يهجر.
Okay. I've got يهاجر now.
يلتقيان فيعرض هذا ويعرض هذا وخيرهما الذي يبدأ بالسلام.
Okay, so لا يحل لمسلم أن يهاجر أخاه. So like we said before, that it's not allowed, it's not halal. So the word لا يحل, we know in usul that there's different terms that are used for prohibition. So لا يحل, it's عدم الحل. عدم الحل comes for nahi, prohibition. So لا يحل لمسلم أن يهاجر أخاه. It is not halal for a Muslim to sever ties with his brother. So his brother, does it refer to blood brother, or is it wider than that? So according to other narrations, أن يهجر مسلما أن يهجر لا يحل لامرئ أن يهجر مسلما. So they've said that it refers to a Muslim. فوق الثلاث, beyond 3 days. And Shaykh Zakaria in Awjaz al-Masalik talks about this whole concept of 3 days. Is it 3 days as in exactly 3 days 72 hours? Is it from the time you started? Does the night come into it as well? So you could read that in there. أن يهجر أخاه فوق الثلاث, so beyond 3 days. In other words, from the mafhum of this, like Mullah Ali Qari mentions, from the mafhum, although we don't take mafhum mukhalafa, from the mafhum of this we can understand that if it's within 3 days, then it's allowed. Yeah. So sometimes what happens is two people don't talk to each other, and what needs to happen is they need a bit of time to cool off, and that cooling off period 3 days roughly does it. Yeah. So أن يهجر أخاه فوق ثلاث, beyond 3 ليال. يلتقيان, so يلتقيان, this can be the hal. Yeah. How do they do muhajara? How do they excommunicate with each other? How do they stop communication? يلتقيان, they both meet. فيؤرد هذا ويؤرد هذا. This one turns away, that one turns away. وخيرهما الذي يبدأ بالسلام, and the best of them is the one that initiates salam. So this is why some of the ulama have mentioned that the giving of salam, so long as you gave salam, you don't come under this wa'id. Yeah, you don't come under this wa'id. You don't come under this threat of the hadith, because you gave salam. Minimum is to give salam, and if you don't talk beyond that, that's fine, so long as you give salam. Some of the ulama have said no, that it doesn't, the hadith does not mean that if you give salam that suffices. The first thing that you do is you give salam. So there's an ikhtilaf between the ulama, as in, does salam suffice or does it suffice? Now the other, or for example, like the narration of Ibn Umar and his son. Yeah, I told you last week as well. He didn't want his wife to go to the mosque, so Ibn Umar got angry at him and said there's a hadith, and so two of the Prophet ﷺ and some of his wives for about 40 days. Yeah, one of Zakaria mentions about up to 40 days he didn't speak to someone. And like that, there's some other examples of Sahaba as well. So how do we answer that then? So the way that we go about that is we say that if the muhajara, if the excommunication, if the stopping the speech, communication between them is due to something which is shar'i, is due to a shar'i reason, then there's scope for that. So there's a shar'i reason. In other words, this person, you need to stop communicating with him because this person is causing fasad. And if you continue communicating with him, what will happen is this guy will continue doing the bad things that he does. Yeah. Or for example, like other people will see you and say, you know what, look at this guy, he talks to that guy. Yeah, this drug dealer or so or whatever. Yeah, he's fine with him, he laughs and jokes with him. He must be fine then. Yeah, so sometimes you have to do this as well. Yeah, so this is why the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said in Bani Israel, when the azab was being sent down upon them, Allah told the angel to send it down upon the pious first. And they said, why? He said, because they used to prohibit them from doing the bad, but then what happened was that they continued talking to them after that. Yeah, and they never used to frown upon their actions after that. So this is why there is permissibility in there. Also, some of the ulama have mentioned, like Mullah Zakaria mentions, that if a person, for example, is someone who is an enemy of Islam, someone who is like Abu Jahl, someone of that sort, yeah, that's fine, because obviously not Muslim. If someone is a mubtadi' and they invite people actively towards their bid'ah, yeah, like the Khawarij or people like that, yeah, you excommunicate them, you're allowed to. But if a person is someone who is mubtadi' but they don't invite towards their bid'ah, then you can continue talking with them. You shouldn't cut ties with them. Yeah, because this person, he doesn't really know better. And by you cutting ties off with them, then what's going to happen is
ابن شهاب عن انس بن مالك رضي الله عنهم ان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا تباغضوا ولا تحاسدوا ولا تدابروا وكونوا عباد الله اخوانا ولا يحل لمسلم ان يهجر اخاه فوق 3 ليال. قال مالك لا احسب التدابر الا الاعراض عن اخيك المسلم يدبر عنك بوجهه فتدبر عنه بوجهك.
Okay, yeah. So again, لا تباغضوا ولا تحاسدوا. So تباغضوا is from مباغضة, yeah, or rather لا تباغضوا is from تباغض, yeah. تباغض. بغض, it means having hatred, malice in your heart for someone. Yeah, hatred, malice, having in your heart. So لا تباغضوا means do not cause for each other, do not cause bughd, or do not do anything which is going to cause bughd in your hearts. Yeah, so for example, like a person who swears at someone, insults someone, makes fun of them. So these kind of things, are arguing with someone. All these things will lead to tabaghud. So a person should refrain from asbab tabaghud. وَلَا تَحَاسَدُوا, again, tahasad. So one is tahsadu, one is tahasadu. So do not do those things which is going to cause hasad between you. Yeah, la tahasadu. So one is hasad. So hasad is, like they say, there's two types of hasad. There's tamanni, yeah, tamanni, to wish for ma inda al-ghayr, to wish for something someone else has, whether it's something dunyawi or whether it's something dini. That's jaiz, that is. Like the hadith of la hasada illa fi ithnatayn. There's no hasad except in two things. رَجُلٌ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ مَالًا فَسَلَّطَهُ عَلَى حَلَقَتِهِ, and then he spreads it and gives it in his locality. وَرَجُلٌ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْقُرْآنَ فَهُوَ يَقْرَأُهُ أَنَاءَ اللَّيْلِ وَأَنَاءَ النَّهَارِ. Yeah, so that and this is what is known as the ghibta. They call it the ghibta. So that's jaiz, that is. However, what's haram is the hasad which is tamanni zawal ni'mat ghayr. Yeah, to wish for the ni'mah that someone else has to be taken off them. So there's two levels of this. One is worse than the other. One is that a person wants what the other person has. They don't want them to have it. Like, this guy's got this very nice car, so you don't want them to have, but you want it. And then worse than that is where you don't want that thing, but you want them not to have it as well. Okay, so hasad, this is hasad, this is. And Imam Ghazali rahimahullah says that hasad itself, having hasad, it's not haram. What's haram is the outcome of the hasad. In other words, the steps that you take, speaking, and then making the movements towards that. Yeah, so the hadith which says that al-hasad ya'kul hasanat kama ta'kul an-nar al-hatab. Yeah, this refers to the hasad which is acted upon. In other words, hasad itself in your heart, you can't help, because in one narration, Imam Abu Walid al-Baji, in his Sharh al-Muwatta al-Muntaqa, he says that it comes in a narration that there's hasad, yeah, is something which is inside of a person. In other words, they can't really get rid of, yeah, al-hasad. And al-tayra, yeah, al-tayra wal-hasad, and he mentioned one more thing. These are three things, he says, that they're in insan. So you can't help it. Tayra is superstition. Yeah, superstition. So So you can't have these things. So you have these naturally. People are jealous of each other naturally. But the thing is, to act upon it is not allowed. Okay, so la tahasadu. So do not, between yourselves, do those things which is going to lead to your hasad. Okay, now, like I said, that hasad which is going to motivate you to do good in life, that's allowed, that is. So long as it doesn't lead to izala or zawal ni'mat ghair. Wala tadabaru. That tadabara is from dubur, back. Tadabaru, do not turn away from each other. Do not cause that thing which will make you turn away from each other, like muhajara, like we said before. And that seems to be the reason why he's brought this hadith. Yeah, that this is the explanation, another way of saying al-muhajara. So la tadabaru wa kunu ibadallah ikhwanan. Kunu ibadallah. So kunu is fi'l naqis. Is the ibadallah the khabar of kunu, or is ikhwanan? That's a ikhtilaf. Imam Zarkashi says ibadallah can be the khabar of kunu, and ikhwanan can be the hal. Yeah, ikhwan, this is hal jamid bima'na muta'akhina. Or ibadallah here can be the munada with the ya nida mahdhuf. Yakunu ikhwanan ya ibadallah. Yeah, or this can be kunu ibadallahi. So ibadallahi, this is ala ikhtisas. Ikhtisas. So i'rab ikhtisas and mansubat comes in there. So yakunu ibadallahi ikhwanan. So in other words, it can mean this then: be humble servants of Allah whilst brothers, or be brothers, O servants of Allah. So when you're brothers, in other words, what happens? You don't do these kind of things. So you have little fights and arguments at home, but you overcome them. وَلَا يَحِلُّ لِمُسْلِمٍ أَن يُهَاجِرَ أَخَاهُ فَوْقَ ثَلَاثٍ. So لَا يَحِلُّ لِمُسْلِمٍ, like we said before, the same explanation. G, next. قال مالك لا أحسب التدابر. So Imam Malik here explains the word tadabur. إِلَّا الْإِعْرَاض عَنْ أَخِيكَ الْمُسْلِمِ. Because I don't understand the tadabur except to mean that a person turns away from their Muslim brother. فَتُدْبِرْ عَنْهُ بِوَجْهِكَ. So then you turn away from his face. In other words, you don't communicate with him anymore. G.
وبه قال حدثنا عن أبي زناد عن الأعرج هريرة رضي الله عنه عنهم أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إياكم وظن باغضوا ولا تدابروا وكونوا عباد الله إخوانا.
Okay, so again, إياكم والظن. إياكم, this is here محذوف. اجتنبوا الظن. Now what's done? So yeah, the hadith like I mentioned to you earlier, the Prophet ﷺ, he says, what did I say? الطيرة الحسد والظن. Yeah, الطيرة والحسن حسد والظن. And he said for طيرة, the cure for طيرة is لا ترجع. As in, if you, for example, like you're going somewhere in the olden days, they see a black cat and they just think, you know what, this is a bad luck, don't go any further. The Prophet said, no, carry on, keep going. And the cure for dhan, he said, لا تحقق, do not go and investigate. So if you have like dhan basically means suspicions, bad suspicions. So you have bad suspicions about someone. Yeah, you think, you know what, this guy's he cheats, or you know what, this guy lies, or you know what, this guy, don't trust him. So having bad suspicions about someone, Prophet said, لا تحقق, do not go and investigate it further. Yeah, because if you go and investigate it further, it might lead to other bad things. And number 3, hasad, he said, لا تبغي. Yeah, لا تبغي. In other words, if you have jealousy over someone, let's say someone's got something really nice, like someone's got a nice car, and now you want that thing, you go on further and you investigate further and you want that thing, that's going to create more hasad in your heart. Okay, so إياكم والظن, stay away from suspicion. So suspicion is something you're naturally going to get, and the hadith mentioned, the Prophet ﷺ said that a person will not be held for the thoughts that he has. A person is not going to be held responsible for the thoughts that he's going to have. But you are going to be responsible for the ما لم يتكلم به, so long as a person does not speak of them. So this is why the ulama say that two things, if a person has bad thoughts about someone, then he'll only be responsible if he acts upon it or he makes a firm resolution to do something. And that's when he's going to be held responsible for it. Okay, so إياكم والظن, stay away from dhan, meaning dhan, you can't help dhan because it's something that just shaitan puts in your mind. What you can stay away from is the things that will go further in that dhan. فإن الظن أكذب الحديث, because dhan, having bad suspicions about someone, is أكذب الحديث. In other words, that when a person has bad suspicions about someone, what tends to happen is that it leads to a person thinking something that's wrong about them. So the muhaddithin here mentioned, why is it called أكذب الحديث? Because dhan is thought, isn't it? And hadith is speech. And kidh is a sifa of kalam, it's not sifa of al-tafakkur. So they say this is majaz, أكذب الحديث, as in this is خلاف الواقع, because al-kidh هو ما يكون خلاف الواقع, that which is against the norm, against reality. So I say to you, for example, I say to you that I didn't eat the cake, and I did eat the cake. So what I'm saying is khilaf al-waqi, it's going against the reality. So this is, and the whole, I told you before about this, the whole concept of lying, in Talkhis al-Miftah and Mukhtasar al-Ma'ani, Imam Taftazani goes into the whole issue between the Imam Nizami and others, Mu'tazila, regarding what is a lie. And Aqaid al-Nasafiyya, did you study that? Yeah, well, in there there's a section. What is a lie? So anyway, so أكذب الحديث, and some people say أكذب الحديث just means khata, because the Arabs used to say هذا كذاب أي هذا خاطئ. This guy's made a mistake. كذب فلان, the Prophet used to say, meaning خطأ فلان. So the kidh did not mean literal kidh, it was majaz of khata. So فإن الظن أكذب الحديث. In other words, when a person has bad suspicion, in most cases that bad suspicion is wrong, it's false. Now, can a person have bad suspicion about someone? So Imam al-Mawardi, in Ahkam al-Sultaniyya, he says that it is only allowed for the authority to investigate suspicions about someone. So the hadith says, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا تَحَسَّسُوا. So لا تجسسوا ولا تحسسوا. لا تجسسوا